Welcome to KPI Conversations with Kay. My name is Kay Bogolin, and thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Companies who benefit most from what I do include women-owned businesses, as well as companies seeking to attract professional women clients. I bring a strong financial background and diverse industry experience to each client's unique value proposition. Our topic for today is marketing during and after the 2020 pandemic. I'm excited to announce that today is the start of a series of interviews I'll be posting on LinkedIn the first Monday of every month. My guests will represent companies that offer nuggets of gold to businesses like yours. You have the potential to meet future clients, valued resources, great promoters, and strategic partners. I'm pleased to announce that my guest today is Dorothy Mowbray, Internet Marketing Specialist with Orlando-based Roar Internet Marketing. Media has been Dorothy's passion ever since she turned her brother's erector set and record player into a radio station that broadcasts tunes across the family farm. Dorothy has worked in all mediums, including newspaper, radio, and TV. Today, she brings an expert team immersed in fast-changing technologies and a significant investment in digital marketing tools. The combination leads to successful campaigns that connect you to your prospects and increases your bottom line. As I said, our topic for today is marketing during and after the 2020 pandemic. Thanks, Dorothy, for joining me.
Thanks, Kate, for having me. Yeah, it's hard to believe that I've been doing internet marketing since 1998 with over 20 years of experience. It's kind of funny. At least I don't have to explain to people. It's like, look, you can click on this banner and it takes you somewhere.
Yeah, fortunately, the topics have become much more interesting as a result of that.
Yeah, much more complicated, lots more data.
Exactly. Well, today we see a very uncertain future and significant economic turmoil. The COVID pandemic has created challenges for many, and businesses of all sizes have closed their doors. The good news is that survivors and thrivers will deliver innovation in response to this new environment. And digital marketing has become essential for companies to build their brand and increase their profile. That's why I believe Dorothy is a great speaker to kick off our series. So let's get started. With over 20 years of internet marketing experience, you've seen the highs of technology innovation, deep recessions, and the crash of the technology stock market. Can you tell us how companies have utilized marketing to capitalize on opportunities and eliminate those challenges?
Well, anytime there's a big disruption like this, there's always opportunity to gain market share because many companies, their automatic reaction is to retreat, to pull back.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
no, let's eliminate that marketing. That's expendable. And
right.
It really isn't, because when they retreat, then other companies that have the foresight and the ability to keep on are going to gain market share because they're going to continue to brand and to grow themselves. And this isn't just necessarily in the digital age.
Right.
I mean, back in the days when I was selling radio in the 90s, I would talk about, hey, this is a recession, but look back at World War II when Wrigley gum, they couldn't even make their product because of the war effort. They continue to brand and they're still a household name, whereas some of the other gum companies, are totally forgotten. So it's a new concept, and it's just definitely something to take advantage of. Like, are you going to be one that pulls back, loses market share, or are you going to be the one that pushes it forward and gains market share? Because that's really what's up for grabs right now, is a lot of market share.
Right, exactly. And this is really a difficult time for many companies, and it's important to explore digital alternatives that can give them a leg up on the competition, because there is a lot more competition. And with the pace of change as quickly as it is today, and is increasingly going to get faster, you don't have the time to become a leader in the business and let that business grow, because the information travels so fast. People just are aware of things that come out quicker. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons. And it's important that continue to explore. And our next topic is really more about industry sectors. And recently I read an article that was written by Bruce Tackefman, and it was published by Research FDI. He named 4 industries that have achieved unusual growth in the last 6 to 8 months: home workout equipment, online statement services, logistics, and medical textiles. One company I've seen advertising heavily that's in the home workout equipment category is Peloton. The company started with a very sophisticated bike, and I suspect you've probably seen their high energy commercials as well as advertising in some of the better named and better presented magazines. And they've created a very loyal customer base willing to pay a high price. I understand Roar specializes in manufacturing, elective medical, and home improvement industries. So what industry sectors do you think will be impacted most?
Like you said, everybody's being impacted in some way. Home improvement has been really quite strong because now people are at home more, and
Right.
they are, whether they want to be or not, they're kind of forced to be at home. So they're
Right.
trying to make that resort type feel, or make it more livable, or have their
Right.
staycation at home. So there's a lot more opportunity for home improvement companies
Right.
to help provide those solutions that people are looking for. So I think
Right.
there's a huge growth in home improvement, or even just in, quality of air that's in their home
Right.
and all those sort of things too. So there's definitely a lot with that. When it
Mhm.
comes to elective medical, we've seen a huge growth in telemedicine.
Right.
I've heard different folks say that, telemedicine has grown by like 5 years in what was expected growth for them in the last few months. So there's definitely a growth toward that, and an adoption of anything to do
Right.
really digital stuff, because we really use Zoom a lot for this last 6 months, so there's a lot of growth with those, and even in our manufacturing sector.
Right.
I think some of them have been a little, not all, but some of them have been a little bit late to the party when it comes to digital. But they've realized too, it's like now everything is being initialized and created online, looking at the website, evaluating that, because you don't have your B2B trade shows, you don't have all these other different interactions. So there's a huge opportunity there for anybody that's been late to the party with digital
Right.
to really kind of catch up, leapfrog ahead, and really do it right, and
Right.
position themselves for future growth. So every aspect has been
Right.
impacted some way or another when it comes
Right.
to digital.
Right. So, and as you said, every industry is being impacted
Mhm.
and will for the future, I'm afraid.
Right.
So our next topic for today is how are companies using digital technology to leverage what looks like a great opportunity?
Well, for those that have already had a solid foundation that was doing, good conversions and all those sort of things, it allowed us, for some of those clients, to look at how had the searches changed. How were people now looking for what they did, and
Right.
the words and the phrases and the different things. For example, we work with a lot of vein clinics, and we found that there was a huge surge in people looking for telemedicine options for some of their vein care health. And so for some of our clients, we were like, okay, let's make a whole page about that. So now that you have the opportunity to show up ahead of your competition when they're
Right.
organically searching for that phrase, as well as
Right.
the PPC that we were doing in that regard. And
Right.
so we could very quickly respond and react to the market for them to have a #1 organic position in their
Right.
geography for that telemedicine care for what they provided and such.
Right.
So that was a great way to utilize the change and make them leapfrog ahead of their competition that literally were just sleeping and had no idea that that was something they even needed to do. So
Sure.
those are the types of things that can be done for those that, kind of had their wake up call, like, gee, we don't have any call to action even on our site. We don't have anything set up. For them, it's going to be a little bit slower. They aren't going to be able to react and respond quickly
Right.
because they weren't set up for it. So in those cases, we kind of have to go, it's better to just do it right, get it done right, and let's start building those digital
Right.
platforms so that you're in a
Very, very true.
position down the road. It's going to take a few months to get things done, but at least then you're going to be in a position for growth down the road. So depending on where they were at with their digital marketing, is kind of where and how quickly they can respond and react to things. But sometimes it is what it is, and you got to start with where you're at, and it's not always going to be an immediate, you can change it tomorrow. But if you set it up right on the first go around, and a solid foundation and a website that actually converts visitors into leads and sales, then you're positioned much better to measure data, optimize data, and react faster down the road.
And it really is a win-win-win, because customers are in fact able to justify the dollars they spend because they see the results. The clients win because they have the opportunity for a closer connection between what they really want and what's out there. And in terms of the company that provides it, they're getting attention from the people that they want to attract. And so everybody wins. And so it's one of the things that makes digital marketing so effective. So I suspect you've worked with a number of clients who are trying to figure out how to manage their dollars spent. We've all been dealing with economic turmoil and social unrest and the rest of that. But I suspect your clients as well are trying to justify every dollar they spend to ensure they're getting a high enough ROI. So what digital strategies have companies that you've been working with or that you've seen improve their return on investment for the marketing dollars they spend?
Yeah, whenever there's a downturn like this, everything goes under scrutiny, and every dollar has to work that much harder for them. And we've been having a gangbuster year, because as companies that were maybe fat and happy and like, oh yeah, everything's good, whatever, now when everything went under scrutiny and they realized, gee, I'm not getting a value from our current vendor. We're not getting the kind of feedback or data that even allows me to make that kind of judgment call. So they have kind of moved over to us so that we can put into place and set things up with the end in mind. There are a lot of KPIs that are out there and available to people, and some of them are just vanity metrics, and others are business generating metrics. And that's really where the rubber meets the road. It's nice to have impressions and clicks and likes and follows and all that other kind of stuff, but it really doesn't pay the bills at the end of the day.
No, it doesn't.
They're vanity metrics. So even according to Google, the more business generating KPIs that you really need to track are things like your conversion rate. How many people that come to your website are actually filling out that form to start a relationship, to book an appointment, to get a quote, whatever call to action you want, or pick up the phone and calling or doing the click to call on your site so that you start that relationship going. And that is incredible how many people don't even know what their conversion rate is. Another thing is their cost per acquisition. What does it cost you to get that new customer? And that's going to vary by industry and vary by what you're doing, because we work with a lot of B2Bs, and it's a different ball game. We know you're not e-commerce, all that kind of stuff. That lead that's very highly targeted for your industry is important. What's the lifetime value of that? What is the share of the search, the bounce rate, the visit frequency? There's some other things too that can kind of come into play that are much more important KPIs to track, so that at the end of the day, I'm spending X and I'm getting XYZ, or I'm spending X and I'm not even making back my money. So the measurability of the internet needs to be embraced. And if your vendor's not embracing it, then maybe there's a reason that they don't want to embrace that, because they just want to stay in the fluffy metrics and do the song and dance sort of thing. I mean, I sold radio and television for years, and that's all we had to kind of do was a lot of the song and dance type of, top of mind awareness. Well, that doesn't cut it anymore. It's more about someone needs something, they Google it, are they finding you? And if they don't find you for what you do on those non-branded searches, then you're losing a lot of market share to one of your competitors, and you need to do something about it, and not just bury your head in the sand.
And it's interesting because, when I work with companies who are looking to grow, one of the first things that we have to do is to establish a different mindset.
Mhm.
So the way they've been doing things in the past is not the way that they can continue to do them, because things have changed, and the technology, digital marketing, all of those are an important element of the things they have to look at differently. So it's not just how many dollars am I spending on marketing. It really is, so how do I use marketing effectively to attract clients that I want to do business with? And how do I measure so that I know that I'm doing successful campaigns? And I think that the fact that you need to have someone who's good at what they do, who can provide that kind of value, is is a mindset change, in that you have to look at advisory resources in a very different way. And I think that that is something that's not easy, but I think it's a critical element that probably
Absolutely.
affects just about every company. And so,
Yeah, because what they did in the past to get them to where they are today is great, but that isn't necessarily going to get them into their future. And that's probably the biggest line that I have to explain to people is like, that's great. I'm glad that you did all those things to get to here, but
right,
that's not necessarily going to work to get you to where you want to go in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, et cetera, whatever
exactly.
their plan is from there. So yeah, there's a lot of different KPIs that need to be
Correct.
tracked and done and scrutinized.
So it's really not a surprise that innovation is front and center for C-level executives. In fact, innovation in digital technology has transformed really client engagement, e-commerce, marketing, and more. Like it or not, every company is now a technology company. So why is digital at the forefront?
Well, digital allows you, when it's set up correctly, allows you to have a lot of experimentation that can be rather inexpensive and provide you really market research. Because there's so many things that when you have your analytics or your Google Search Console on your website set up properly so that you're measuring the right kind of data, then you can really look at that information and make better sound business decisions on what's going to move the bottom line. And there's and I really stress it's got to be set up properly to connect all the dots, because sometimes people will look at the data and they have forgotten to screen out their own employees, because that's going to skew their data. They have forgotten to screen out all the spammers and robots that are coming from Russia and Romania and all the other countries where that's going to skew the data in the wrong direction.
Right.
So one of the things they need to look at is, what is the geography of the business that they actually do business in? Right. Is it in the state? Is it in the county? Is it in a tri-state area? Whatever that geography is, then that needs to be a way that they can sort the data and sort the users that are coming from that preferred geography.
Right.
That becomes the data set that they utilize to glean the information out. So that way it's not skewed by the robots or by internal traffic or whatever, so that they can have clean data to look at. And then from there, they might want to consider, do I really just want to see what new visitors coming to my site are doing and responding? Because sometimes people just go to your site, they're existing customers, they're looking for your phone number, and they just, no one uses the yellow pages anymore. Go to, you Google it, you go to their site, oh, there's the number, you either, if you're on your phone, you click to call, or
exactly.
whatever. And so there's different ways that you want to utilize the data to extract the best data to give you the insights that you're looking for. In the same way that you might have a CPA or other, professionals that look at this data and then can see trends and see forecasting and all these other types of great information that data provides. That's the kind of insights that you need somebody to be able to read this, so that it can show that, hey, we're seeing something that's an anomaly. For example, we were working with a pool builder, and they had a huge spike in traffic coming from a little town called Mineola. And we were like, what's up with that? Why is this on the radar even? And they're like, oh, well, we're doing a lot of pools on that because it's a new development, it's a new business. Well, do you want to do more? We're like, might want to do a little direct mail piece you know, in that little tiny targeted area, because they're already seeing your trucks, and now you've got another reason to kind of catch them. So sometimes the data can provide insights on how you can do something even offline, very inexpensively, very targeted, and get the biggest bang for the buck from it, because it makes sense. So it's those types of insights that we can provide to further the digital, or even do things offline, and then measure and track and record and optimize and all that type of stuff. So it's evolved. Your digital has evolved now that it should be a little bit of a sandbox for you to inexpensively experiment and do a lot of A/B testing, so that if you can know, hey, if I do this, I can get some more leads coming from it. We had a forklift rental company that we work with, and we changed the language on the button from rent a forklift to rent my forklift. And that little tiny change drove up their conversions. So, you know, there's little things like that you should have a vendor that's doing those types of A/B tests to see what can we do to get more conversions, to get more people to take the action that you want them, so that they're doing more business with you. So it's those types of things that it really becomes a digital experimentation ongoingly, that you measure, you optimize, and you drive results. So it's not about adding more money, it's making more money out of the money you've got to work with, and getting better results for what you're already doing, versus spending more to spend more. That's no one's got money like that.
Well, I do think that there's a lot to be said for recognizing that if you're going to grow, you're going to need different resources. So if you want to be an $8 million company and you make $800,000 in revenue today, you got to do a lot of changing. And if you want to get to 80 million, there's another jump in resources. And so recognizing that, you have to, once again, I said, look at a mindset. So how do you want to grow your company? And what does that mean in terms of what kind of resources in the marketing and other areas? What kind of resources do you really need? What's going to get me from 8 million to 80 million or 800 million? And so it's that kind of a perspective that you need to take, because there's all kinds of resources, internal and external, that you're going to need to look at.
And if you still have an online brochure as your website, they couldn't cut it anymore, not in 2020 and beyond.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I get it. Digital marketing and technology offer so many avenues to closely target who can benefit most from what my business offers. And because of that, the best way to build our brand and sell more product is through digital and other innovation that is going to continue to change, continue to get more fast changing. And you really have to be able to use what's available today to get close to your clients and build your revenue base. So does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So tell me more about key performance indicators. So as we discussed earlier, companies are really taking a hard look at the dollars and spending. And the reality is, if that you're not tracking marketing performance, how are you going to know if the campaigns are working? So that's what makes key performance indicators so important. And KPI is a valuable tool for evaluating your business by measuring metrics that matter most to your company. So what key performance indicators should our viewers use to ensure marketing dollars are actually generating solid return?
And I may have kind of jumped ahead in talking a little bit about that earlier, but really the biggest business generating metrics are going to be, what's your website conversion rate? What's the cost of per acquisition? And, lifetime value, bounce rate, some of those sort of things can be insightful into figuring out, how do I get that conversion rate to go higher? And some of the challenges we see when we take over from some, companies and start managing this stuff for them is that they haven't set up their conversion rate and their different events within their Google Analytics properly.
Right.
You know, sometimes, you know, we've run across where people would be like, oh, I guess I got to have a conversion rate or have a goal or whatever set up. So some have set up a goal as being, oh, they viewed 3 pages on my website. Well, that's meaningless. So
You're right.
you got to make sure that whatever goals you've set up actually relate to business generating activities. So when a website visitor reveals who they are and that becomes a lead in some sort of fashion, that is definitely a good goal. If they sign up to meet with you at a trade show and have a one-on-one meeting with that, that's a good goal. You know, I don't know that signing up for your email newsletter is a super great goal, but at least I guess that's something. But who wants more email?
At least they're aware of who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's that? So there's definitely different things that need to be set up properly, and then like I explained before, to make sure that it's you know, then grading those leads as to what leads are beneficial and which ones are just tire kickers and like not. And so when you really have all that stuff set up, then when you're doing a pay-per-click campaign or you're doing any other advertising out there with ability to track, maybe through a special URL or a special phone number or whatever makes most sense, then there's ways to go, okay, did that directory listing bring me any traffic? Okay, maybe it brought me, you know, 100 people or whatever. That from that traffic, did any of them actually fill out the form or make a phone call or do some action that I wanted them to take? If it's bringing you traffic but not bringing you any leads, then that changes the whole conversation when it comes time to renew and that directory wants another $1,000 or $500 or whatever it is. Because if it's not bringing you value, then you can either negotiate a better deal or you can just decide, no, I'm not going to renew because that's a wasted $1,000 or that's a wasted $500 or that's a wasted $3,000 or whatever the case is. It really allows you to measure things in a way of what's bringing value, what's bringing me leads, and how do I then take that money and put it into something that actually is bringing me leads. And even if you're doing a PPC campaign, well, obviously it's much more easy to track the dots. Then it comes down to, am I setting up different campaigns so that campaigns on this keyword are providing more leads than this other campaign on these other keywords? And whether it's on volume of leads, or perhaps then there's ways to track back and go, hey, of the leads you got, which ones were the best value, so that you get into the quality of the lead, and then take that back into the campaign to go, okay, when I use these keywords, I get leads, but they're all tire kickers and they are of no value. Well, then let's turn the money off on that and put the money into something that is bringing you value and bringing you good quality leads. So those are the types of conversations that we can have then with our clients, so that we're getting them better results because we're getting them better leads. That's when you can really go, wow, the money I have spent really truly is working for me, working better than anything, you know, else I'm trying to do. And then figure out, because there's so much you can do, and even within digital, and you have to kind of go, okay, what's the best, what's the lowest hanging fruit, and then go from there. And generally non-branded search is going to be your lowest hanging fruit, because they're actively looking for what you do. They don't know the name of your company, but they're actively looking for what you do. That's where you need to be, because they're in a buying mode or a research mode to buy, and then take care of all that. And then you can get into how many, you know, search volume impressions are you, you know, maxing out on that, or are you only at 30%? Then put more money into that if it's working, because you want to get a higher percentage of all the search volume that's available. Once that's tapped out, then you can look at other things. And you know, it's all just a matter of, you have limited dollars. Let's make sure it's being used the most efficiently, the most effectively, to get you the best quality leads that you possibly can. And that's where those KPIs come into play, and what do you need to look at so that it's really bringing value to the business to grow the bottom line.
Sure. So, Dorothy, before we close, are there any last remarks you'd like to add?
Your volume kind of came out a little bit there, but I think you were asking if I want to love
Sorry.
because we need to kind of wrap this up. But
Okay.
you know, the bottom line is I read something that I love the quote. It was like, if you pay peanuts, you're gonna get monkeys. You know, so so beware of, you know, what you pay for, you're gonna get. You know, you get what you pay for, you know, that old adage, because we've run into some people and like, oh, we got, you know, someone that's going to build our website because it's a project for college and it's free. I'm like, well, if that's what you want to put in the hands of your marketing, okay, you get what you pay for, you know. So it's definitely something that the skill level that's needed to really navigate the waters of digital. It's because it's so vast and it's so wide. You really do need someone that's skilled and is experienced and really knows what they're doing, and they're not learning on you. I think that's a really valuable thing. So when it comes time to, you know, look at who are your partners and your vendors and all of those sort of things and your resources, you know, I've had numerous clients go, you guys are my digital experts. You know, you are my digital resource that I go to when it's like, what's this new thing, what's new that, whatever. So make sure that you've got the right resources that you partnered with, so that they're going to work on your behalf and not just, you know, there to sell you a bag of goods or whatever. So in that regard, I do want to make an offer to anybody who wants to have me review their website. It's a free digital checkup. And no obligation. I kind of give you fresh eyes, new perspective on your whole digital asset. And I'll show you the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that way it's truly, this is, you know, what I'm seeing, what I'm finding, and what my impressions are of what looks good, what doesn't look good, and what's really ugly. And kind of go from there. So I would love to do that for anybody that would like to have some fresh eyes and review on it. You can email me at dmowbray@roarontheweb.com, or you can go to our website, roarontheweb.com, and there's a speak to a specialist button where you can click, and it'll have an option with my picture generally to say, yeah, I want Dorothy to review and talk to me, and I'm more than happy to set something up where we can kind of review and give that digital checkup to your digital assets.
I tell you, that is a free offer that I heartily recommend you take advantage of, because you may not be ready for that level at this point, but you need to know it's there. Because if you're serious about growing your business, and you should be if you're on this call, then you really do want to take advantage of those kind of things, because you know, she's a quality provider, and her company has some great relationships with well-known companies. So I think it's worth your while to spend that time to get valuable advice, which I think they're certainly going to give you. So give me join me in giving a big hand to Dorothy Mowbray. And I've truly enjoyed our conversation, Dorothy, and you've been a wonderful guest. So given the pace of change and need to sharply focus on target clients, digital marketing is essential for all businesses. I think that's very clear. And your insights and tips for our viewers can make a huge impact on their business. So you want to repeat again, what's the best way for
Sure.
people who want to follow up to reach you?
Thankfully, our names are on here. So there's the spelling, and it's dmowbray@roarontheweb.com is my email address if you want that free digital checkup, or if you have any other questions you might want to ask after this. And the website is roarontheweb.com. And again, there's a speak to the specialist page form that's on our site, and it does give you the ability to click on my name to have me follow up with you on that way. So we'd love to do that either way. Thanks, Kay. I appreciate our time together.
Good. I want to thank you for watching this video and encourage you to tune in again for the next KPI Conversations with Kay on Monday, November 2nd. And we'll be posting the details on my LinkedIn page, which is Kathleen M. Bogolin. And if you look on the screen, you will see how to spell my name. And I hope you found our session worthwhile and would love to receive your feedback. Please send your comments and questions to me at K, the letter K, Bogolin, at theflb.com. And that's the word the, T-H-E. F as in financial, L as in legacy, and B as in builders.com. So if you're a woman business owner or looking to attract professional women clients, please reach out to me. Tell your friends and networking connections about KPI Conversations with Kay. So thanks again, and may the rest of your month lead to great success. And bye for now.
Bye.